Hello students, welcome to science class. Look at the image. A flower become a fruit. Can you guess the topic? Yes, the topic is reproduction in plants. In plants, flowers, fruits and seeds are the reproductive organs. What is reproduction? The process by which plants and animals produce young ones and increase their number is known as reproduction. Reproduction are two types. When plants reproduce from the seeds, we call that process as sexual reproduction. All other ways of reproduction without seed are called asexual reproduction. To understand how seeds are formed in a flower, first we need to understand parts of a flower. Sepals. In a bud, we can see a green color leaf-like structure is called as sepal or calyx. Petals. Largest part of a flower, they are often attractive, brightly colored. This ring of petals together is called corolla. A male reproductive part of the flower is called androcym or stamen. Each stamen consists of two parts, a style called filament and a tube called anther. Pollen grains are collected here. A female reproductive organ is called gynosium or pistil. You can see a swollen bottom part called ovary, ovules present here. Seeds are produced in this part. On top of the ovary, there is a slender tube-like structure called style. The topmost sticky tip of the style is stigma. Pollen grains are received by the stigma. If all these four parts, calyx, corolla, stamen and pistil are present, then it is called as complete flower or bisexual flower. If any one of this part is missing, then it is called incomplete flower or unisexual flower. It is either male flower or female flower. The flower becomes a fruit by the process of pollination and fertilization. First, let me see the process pollination. The process by which the pollen grains reach stigma is called as pollination. If pollination are transferred from the anther to stigma of the same flower or to another flower of the same plant is called self-pollination. Pollen grains transfer from the anther of the one flower to the stigma of another flower of the same kind or different plant is known as cross-pollination. In some plants, insects, wind and water are called as the agents of pollination. Bees, butterflies and varieties of birds hover around flowers. They help to carry pollen grain from one flower to another. Pollen grains stick to their legs, wings or abdomen when they move from one flower to another. Thus, the insects help it in cross pollination. Through pollination, pollen grains reach stigma and the fertilization starts. This is the picture to show the fertilization. Let us see this process one by one. In first step, through pollination, pollen grains reach stigma. substance produced on the stigma causes the pollen grain to germinate. During the germination, a tube develops from the pollen grain that carries the male gamete that ultimately reaches the female gamete inside the ovary through the style. Male gamete fuses with the female gamete to form zygote. So, by the way, what is the gamete? It is specialized cells which serves the function of reproduction. So, from that, the part of the female reproductive system that will develop into seeds after fertilization. Ovary enlarges and develop into a fruit. Ovules present inside the ovary develops into a seed and become a new plant. This process is called sexual reproduction. Now we move on to the next type of reproduction is asexual reproduction. The production of new plants without the involvement of pollination and fertilization is known as asexual reproduction. Here are some types. Number 1. Vegetative propagation. Vegetative part of the plants such as root, stem and leaves can help to propagate the plant. Budding. Here cells undergoes a asymmetric division which gradually grows and separates from the parent cell. Next, fragmentation. Mature filaments divides into pieces. Each piece of a filament will grow into a new filament. Example, Spirogyra. Next one, spore formation. Algae, fungi, moss and ferns produce spores. They germinate into a new plant in a favorable condition. So now students, you can understand about the types of reproduction in this class. See you on next class. Thank you. God bless.